Right. So, I mean, when I heard that, I was like, this thing's not going to happen. Come on.
No
way.
I know.
No
I
way.
know.
So,
yeah.
I know it's frustrating.
Yeah.
We can't see any live shows. I mean, unless somebody gets really creative and figures something out,
I know.
I don't see anything for a while. I don't know why they're not doing pay-per-view shows or something.
I tell you, it's incredible to me. There is some, for example, I just wrote about, you want to talk about a big level show that would be comparable to a Van Halen. So Metallica is doing a drive-in concert show, and by the time this airs, it'll be out or just about to happen. So they're doing a drive-in concert show, and this is what they did. They filmed an actual concert with no audience from their headquarters. Metallica, because they're organized and focused, of course, they have a headquarters where they do everything. These guys are the most organized band I've ever seen. They have a headquarters where they handle everything. Their merch, they're rehearsing, they're writing, they're recording. They know what the hell they're doing, these guys. So, obviously, 5150 is probably a headquarters to a certain degree. But, I mean, can you imagine if Van Halen did a pay-per-view from 5150, how goddamn cool that would be? And you know what? The real work, of course, in addition to rehearsing and stuff like that, the real work would be, getting all the, the technical guys in there to put it together. But there's plenty of people out there to do something like that. And it would only take a crew of 2 or 3 to really get something together like that. So Metallica filmed an entire fresh show, which has not been seen. And then they're going to air it on drive-ins of over 300 across the country. And then I think it's going to either go on pay-per-view or something. It's going to be some sort of pay-per-view. But what an incredible idea. I mean, that is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, what a brilliant, brilliant idea. But, if you don't want to tour or you can't get out there and people still want to hear you, guys, there is some incredible shit going on. As we get further in the news, we're going to talk about some more of this virtual concerts. But there's some really good stuff. So it's certainly something to consider. And you never know. You never know, because I think it's going to be a while before we start touring. Now, to give Eddie Trunk a little nod, listen to Eddie all the time. I think he's fantastic. He had Phil Collin on, from Def Leppard. We all know, and I'm sure some of you listening probably had tickets to the Stadium Tour. It had that actual name, the Stadium Tour, which was Motley Crue with Def Leppard, Poison, Joan Jett. It's this big 4-label bill. Unbelievable show going to happen this summer. Obviously, it got postponed because of the COVID pandemic. Okay. It's supposed to go on next summer. Dates announced, all set. Next summer, 2021, we're all set to go. Everybody hold on to their tickets. So Phil Collin, who is just an unbelievable, fantastic guy and an amazing, amazing guitar player, was on Eddie Trunk, and Eddie asked a great question. He said, Phil, let me ask you a question. What's the chances this tour goes on next summer? And Phil goes, 50-50. So we're dealing with something that, I don't think next summer is a gimme. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
I don't think next summer is a gimme, and I don't know what's going to happen, because as we are talking about this, we are creeping up on some cancellation dates that from the spring that are now coming up in the fall for shows I was going to go to that are now going to be canceled. Right. So we're talking about cancellation dates. This is how long this is going on. So I think virtual concerts might be a way of the future in terms of major bands. And, Metallica, who's always so forthcoming and always the first to stick their toe in the water. They don't give a fuck. They're unbelievable that way. They will try anything and make it work. They're doing it. And I think if they see the returns on this, I think a lot of people are going to start doing virtual concerts. And high level.
I think that's a brilliant idea.
Yeah. You're talking about you're not just throwing up a camera on Facebook. This is like watching a movie. Okay? This is like high-end sound, really amazing, multi-camera shot. This is the real deal. So think about how cool it would be to see Eddie at 5150 jamming with Wolf. Notice I didn't say Wolfie. and Alex, who knows? Maybe Wolf's album maybe there might be something with that, and maybe he'll do a live performance from 5150. You never know. So, but
that would be great.
Yeah, I have to say, now, of course, as we all know, this is my last item on Sam, rumors rumble. So many people have been talking about Sammy Hagar possibly coming back into the band now that Dave is out doing solo stuff and Wolf is going solo. So there was a 2004 Sound Crew guy. His name is Ben Italiano. He had posted something up on Facebook, said, something is in the works in the near future. I can't really say more than what I mentioned at the moment. It was pretty hard dragging that out. He said that was a quote from a guy he got, that something is in the works in the near future. I can't really say more than what I mentioned at the moment. Someone told him that. He said it was pretty hard to drag it out. Just trust me unless it falls through. So, who knows? You know what I'm thinking?
Just trust me unless it falls
Yeah,
through.
Of course. But listen.
What a great cop-out.
But you know what? You never, you never know. Maybe it could be
a
pay-per-view. Listen to me.
Listen to me.
Maybe it could be a pay-per-view. I mean, like a one-time thing. Because folks would pay for that for sure. And let me tell you something. As time goes on and there's no shows, you're going to see a lot of this popping up. Well,
I applaud your optimism.
Well, we'll see.
I hope you're right. But these guys are so dysfunctional. If you think they're actually going to get their wits about them to do a pay-per-view special, good luck.
We'll see what happens. Now, speaking of touring, boy, David Lee Roth came out of the gate. So Dave's been doing his soggy bottoms. Dave's turned into Jim Carrey. He's doing all these incredibly politically oriented cartoons and stuff. So that's kind of cool. Jim is amazingly talented. So is Dave. I can't believe the artistry. It's incredible that he's so talented, but it does prove his artistic creative side. So Mr. Roth is headed back out on tour a year from now. From the original plan with Kiss, opening for Kiss on its North American tour in 2021. He's going to start in Mansfield, Massachusetts on the 18th of August, 2021, and run through Lafayette, Louisiana, October 6th, 2021. Now, will this happen? We shall see. I certainly hope so, but it seems hard to picture, to be honest with you. I tell you, he posted a tweet that said, "Can't stop, won't stop. Why stop now?" Now, this man is unstoppable. He also posted a poster of himself jumping in the air, wearing a top hat that said, "The last tour, unless it isn't, I come to work, you come to play." So that's definitely the spirit of Mr. Roth right now. You can't help but give him kudos for being forward-thinking. What do you think, Dave?
Man, I hope that happens. I really do.
I do, too.
Because,
I do, too.
I mean, people just want to go out, you know?
No, I know. Will you come to Connecticut? They're coming to Hartford. Will you go to that show with me? I'll go up there.
You know, I didn't pull the trigger the first time because the ticket prices were so outrageous. Let's see. Let's see what the prices are like and what the demand is like.
Okay. All right,
Ask me. And you know what? Ask me a year from now.
Exactly. We will see what happens. If the miracle happens that Dave does open for Kiss a year from now and that show goes on, and an even bigger miracle, Dave opening his wallet and buying a ticket to the show. So we shall see.
I will personally hand the money to Gene.
Oh, my God, that's right. He'll take it, too. Don't think he won't. Don't think he won't. He likes kashish, that guy. So Patti Smythe, lead singer of Scandal, happened to be a big Patti Smythe fan. I like her a lot. I spent actually a lot of money for her first solo album that I couldn't find, went out of print. Patti Smythe has a new album coming out, so she's doing press. And she addressed the rumor about Eddie Van Halen asking her to sing in front Van Halen in 1985. Here's what she had to say. So she was interviewed, and she had a couple things to say about the band and why she didn't take the job. It's very interesting. She said they were heavy drinkers, and I don't drink. I never saw myself living in L.A. I'm from New York. We don't move to L.A. It's all the semantics because she said, if Eddie had said to me, let's make a record, then I would have said yes to that. But joining the band, to me then, Oh, God, they fight all the time, she said. Him and his brother she's referring to. I don't want to get into a volatile situation. This is a smart girl, by the way. And I was probably heavily hormoned out because I was 8 months pregnant. So there was a state of mind that I was in of how to take care of myself. But I regret turning him down. For a long time, I regretted it. When you start to have regrets, I was like, oh, man, I would have made so much money. He says, but I wish I had the right kind of luck. I feel like I'm just in this stream of this river, and sometimes it just takes you where you need to go. And then she said, I never said anything about it for years. I got a call from Ed, and he was like, look, I'm not saying that I asked you to join because I don't want Sammy Hagar to look like he was second choice. And I was like, okay. So I never spoke about it after that. I'm like, all right, I don't need to tell people. If someone asked me, I didn't lie, but I didn't really talk about it that much. So what do you think of that, Dave? I mean, I think it was a smart move on Patty's part. I love Patti Smythe. I think she's got an amazing voice. I can't wait for her new album, but I don't think that her fronting Van Halen would have worked in mid-'80s, right?
No, I don't think that would have been a good... I mean, I know Ed liked working with her and thought she was a great singer.
Yeah.
But as far as fronting the band, I think she was right. I don't think it was going to be a good mix.
I tell you what I think would have been great is if Ed produced, co-wrote, and played guitar on her solo album. Not fronting Van Halen, but I think if he did a solo album with her... like he did with Sam, for example, for I Never Said Goodbye, where he was producing and playing. Oh, I think that would have been fantastic. But in the mid-'80s, I just don't know. It's just a hard role to fill. Sammy's obviously way closer to the Van Halen vibe than Patti is. So, I don't know. I mean, she's got a really amazing voice. One of my favorite female rock vocalists ever. I mean, I think she could have killed some of those songs, to be honest with you. Perhaps she would have been open to doing some of the old Van Halen songs. It would have been interesting to hear her on that, but I don't know if she was exactly the right pick. I mean, the woman was 8 months pregnant. I can imagine that she probably was not, down
But would
for
the
that.
fans have accepted her, too? That's the other question.
Oh, that's the other thing, yeah. That's the other thing. I always wonder about Patti Smythe. She must be dealing with the Patti Smythe thing nonstop. Can you imagine? I mean, it seems like it would be like a lot. You know what I mean?
Well, and the interview you're referring to, that was a great interview, by the way.
Yeah, oh, fantastic.
Everybody should read it.
Yeah, it was done by Stereo Gum.
Okay. But she talked about how she originally, I think she lived on the same street or around the same neighborhood as Patti Smith and was getting her mail.
Oh, my God.
So you can only imagine. Yeah. I mean, if she had joined the band, I'm sure Patti Smith would have gotten all sorts of calls, like, you're in Van Halen?
Right, yeah.
So
absolutely.
Great singer, but I don't know. I don't think it would have worked.
Right. Well, I tell you, the album is called It's About Time, and it's been a while since she's come out with an album, so it's an apt title. And I think it's coming out in October, so everybody check that out. That's for sure. Now, also, Tawny Katane, Dave, was on Rock Talk with Mitch LaFon. We all know Mitch is a big Van Halen, a big rock fan. Mitch does a great podcast, Rock Talk with Mitch LaFon. Check it out. Tawny Katane was on there as a guest. She declared Van Halen the greatest rock band in the world. And she said she toured with Van Halen for 3 years as the girlfriend of road manager, lighting director. Do you know his name, Dave? Do you remember who I'm talking about?
Oh, is that the other Picasso brother?
Yes. Let's see if you can remember. Come on.
I know.
Dig
I can
deep.
see him.
You can see
him.
him.
I'm drawing a blank right now. I can't remember his name. Pete Angelus.
There you go. Pete Angelus. Okay, great. Yeah, she was the girlfriend of Pete Angelus, and she said it was like being with the Beatles. It was crazy. But then she made a little dig at Sam. She said, Sammy couldn't replace David Lee Roth. She said, Sammy, I love you, but stick to your own band. It just really showed. There's just certain people that you can't ever pretend to be. So that was a little rough on Tawny Katane's part. Also considering she was married to David Coverdale from Whitesnake, and she called Van Halen the greatest rock and roll band. So obviously she's not giving David that credence. But again, what can I tell you? So they got divorced. Here I go again, Dave. So, Dave, listen, did you realize the gift that came down from heaven, manna from heaven as they call it, when the Capitol Theater from Largo, Maryland, came out on YouTube, a 2-hour concert, pro-shot, live show of Van Halen performing at the Capitol Theater from Largo, Maryland, and then the Diver Down Tour. Talk about a gift. This is the shit that we've been talking about, guys. I hope my cry to release this stuff had helped. I say release the hounds, to be honest with you. The world is ending. We need as much Van Halen as possible to comfort us through the process. It's
right. I think that's been out before.